Our barnwood wall is outstanding, by the way. But today is going to be a fun class because apparently Dr. Ram has said this is her greatest creation thus far. And having 4 kids and doing everything she's done currently, that is actually a big statement. I won't mention that I added the kids into that statement because she would go, that's not true. My kids are the greatest thing I've ever done. And she is not incorrect with that. Let me see here. Blur my background. Spotlight. So I'm going to do that. Okay, I think we're good there. Now we can see everybody. So welcome to Root U, everyone. So today, as I mentioned, is going to be a fun day. Jayla, you in control of the deck? Let's get this.
Nope, you got Tiger today.
Oh, we got a tiger by the tail.
Yep.
Green's coming. Florian, I can't wait to see you, brother. Congratulations on hitting platinum and all the fun stuff. We'll be dancing our way through Germany, and in some aspects, I pretty much bet. So today's information is actually for educational and entertainment purposes. It's not intended for medical advice. What we're going to get into is some stuff that the medical establishment has actually never seen before. So you shouldn't take this as a substitute for any medical advice, and you should consult with a healthcare professional. And if you don't have one will be provided for you. What we're going to be discussing is not a diagnosis for any health or fitness issue or a disease, and it's not designed to be a treatment for any of those because, well, what we know is a healthy body doesn't have health problems. So always consult with your healthcare professional, and in so doing, when you're consulting with your healthcare professional, you should be asking your healthcare professional about the things that you learn in Root U so you can educate your healthcare professionals, because we know where the real education comes from. Comes from here in Ram Thomas University, brought to you by your professor, Dr. Ram. Let's go. Are we going to go over compliance guidelines first? Now, Tiger, this is really interesting. The one time that I get to do a full intro and you slip compliance in with me, I'm really the guy to talk about compliance.
You are the perfect guy to talk about
because
compliance.
I'm usually, this is the fun part about the educational process, is we're going to incorporate the one who's oppositionally defiant along with compliance. So here we go. When talking about products, you can't make structure and function claims, and these guidelines are very, very specific. If you're talking about a product, right, you can't say a product. So we'll say clean slate. And a structure function claim is when a claim is used to describe the role of a dietary ingredient intended to affect normal structure or function in humans, but not a specified disease. You can find it on nutritional labels and facts. You can't make a claim to a specific product dealing with a specific issue, like a diagnosed issue, and it can't be discussed as treating a specific issue. And if you're one who likes to talk this way, here's your educational point. There's no drug on the market that actually treats a specific issue. And in what we do, there is no single product that will treat any specific issue. One, because we know that the issues that people are searching for solutions for aren't the issue themselves. So if you're going to be talking to people, make sure that you're not making claims about treating anything, because there actually is nothing to treat. If you understand the entire process, right? Because what we like to focus here is on etiology versus symptomology. Cause, symptoms, and diagnosis of an issue based on a list of symptoms. Now, who created the diagnosis based on the symptoms? It wasn't us. So we don't need to comply with it, because what we know here, what we continually teach, and what you should all understand is that the cause of virtually all of our problems all result from environmental exposures. And that is going to be what we're going to be hitting on today, is another layer that you'll be able to use to address those environmental influences that create the dysbiosis, the problems in the body that can create a bunch of symptoms that can be diagnosed, because there was an industry that did a really good job making hundreds of trillions of dollars on treating a diagnosis and never addressing the cause and getting people better. So what can't you do? You can't describe a relationship with a disease. Honestly, I don't care how you identify who would actually want a relationship with a disease. I could go back through my life and think of many times where I had relationships with people that I would think was a disease. You don't want a relationship with a disease. That's out. What is a disease? It's a damage to an organ, a part, a structure, or a system of the body that does not function properly. We don't care about a disease. We don't care about a diagnosis. And it's so important when someone's asking you about their issue and they say, oh, well, does it treat this disease? Or does it treat this disorder? Or does it treat this syndrome? The answer always is no. This is not hard. We don't treat any of that. What we do is we create greatness. Now, greatness is different for everyone. And putting people in the best position possible to be as healthy as possible is the goal. Your general guidelines: being able to state nutritional support should provide useful information to consumers about the intended use of a product. That is boring. Statements of nutritional support should be supported by scientifically validated evidence. Now, this is where you get into fun, because you can't talk about a specific product being able to address specific symptomology or issues. But if you had amazing resources, maybe some of them are provided to you by the International Science and Nutrition Society, maybe some of them are due to research that you do on your own, maybe some that you were able to discover through your time spent in Root U, that you learn about specific ingredients, and these specific ingredients might have specific benefits to deal with specific aspects of the bodily function. Some things might address specific symptomology that has already been discussed. Those things you can discuss. And if you had a relationship with a bioscience engineer that could take many of these different ingredients and knew how to properly combine these ingredients and magnify them, you could take those individual ingredients and talk about what they do individually, but then outline the fact that there was an actual savant, a biotech savant, who was able to use the highest levels of quantum physics and bioscience engineering available on the market to combine said ingredients to do some things that have never been done before. That would be compliant. Those would be guidelines to follow. Tiger, we move on. And here we go. So a little bit ago, the RPS community was introduced to the two products we're going to be discussing today. Skin Defense by Envirum and Coato, brought to you by Bill and Koo. Oh, and my favorite part of today is muting people. Now, if you unmute yourself again, I'm going to remove you from class. Allow participants to unmute themselves. No! It's time for class. There we go. Make sure we're good, Sonia. Sorry, you don't get to play anymore. So first, we're going to talk about Envirum Skin Defense. We're going to talk people first before we get into animals. And why is this important? Well, it's become something knowledgeable that our environment is not that clean anymore. and that we are exposed to many different environmental pollutants and toxins, some of which have been put in the environment long before it was something we thought of, right? As Dr. Ram has talked about, the issues of radiation, and not from sunlight, right? We will have always a conversation about UV protection, and so many people ask about UV protection. She's not here yet, so let's talk briefly about UV protection. You see this? This is called skin. It is UV protection. Now, what you want to do is make sure that everything that resides under this little skin suit that we have is working properly and is healthy and is detoxified, to mean that this is actually protective from ultraviolet rays. But those same ultraviolet rays are what your body naturally needs to produce vitamin D, to be healthy, to produce some neurotransmitters, and function well. And as you spend a little more time in the sun, your levels of melanin increase a little bit, so you can darken up. If you're like me, a little sun is a good thing, because darker skin is healthy and better looking, honestly. You don't want to be ashy and pasty. It's not what we're made to be. You need to be in the sun. So you don't want to block the sun's ability from doing what it does, because we have to resonate with the sun. And if you didn't know, most of the sun protectant products on the market are carcinogenic. That means, wait for it, we're not talking about a cause or anything, but they cause cancer. So we got that out of the way. So we're not going to talk about UV protection. But you have things in the environment that are like viruses, that are fungal, that are frequency-based, that are radioactive. Maybe not because of something that was done in the last couple of years. Maybe it was something done years ago. Maybe it was a meltdown in like Fukushima or Chernobyl or 3 Mile Island or Hanford or a whole host of others. Maybe it could have been through bombs being dropped in different areas, or nuclear bombs being tested in different areas, that these things actually don't leave our environment, that they're still here. They're in the water, they're in the air, and they're constantly recirculating, which means the air that we're breathing and that which is coming in contact with our bodies is having an impact on us. So Envirom Skin Defense is actually a combination of a unique proprietary blend created by Dr. Ram through 20 years of biotech experience, 3 years at Harvard in nanotechnology and bioscience engineering, and a few years of working with her husband. We know what the real influential time was. It wasn't Harvard. It wasn't biotech. If she's not here, I can give myself credit. Don't tell her. But a proprietary blend of orthosilicic acid, which, if you understand clean slate, you know the derivative. Hypochlorous acid, HOCl, which is a compound that is very, very beneficial. It is one of the best mechanisms for killing off bacteria and fungus and other components. A combination of vitamins and minerals to create a very powerful shield that is designed to protect your skin, in addition to Envirom Wear, which will come out shortly with the Mercy Dupree line, that can be used on your apparel or will be embedded in apparel that will protect your clothes, or your clothes will be able to protect you while you wear them, in addition to what you can do with this. So what are the total ingredients? You've got water, hypochlorous acid, which is another version of water, orthosilicic acid, a blend of which is derived from nature's most powerful crystal, being clinoptilolite, a little ascorbic acid, being vitamin C, aloe vera, which many times before we've talked about the benefits topically of aloe vera, vitamin B3, a fragrance. And do you know what a fragrance is? It's something that smells good. Do you know what emit different fragrances? That would be plants. And if you were looking at creating something that could be healing and very soothing to the skin, what kind of fragrance would you use? Well, it would have to be lavender. Lavender has its own benefits, lavender oil. Little potassium sorbate, very small amount because you have to preserve it. And then iodine. Now, why iodine? Well, iodine is very, very important, right? It's very protective. It's very cleansing, right? Many of you know that if you have a cut or an open wound, if you wanted to clean said wound, or if you're going into surgery, as the Tilly dog is doing on Friday, she's going into surgery. One of the things they do before they do incisions is they use a little iodine, betadine solution to clean the incision area, right? Or if you have an open wound, they will put iodine on it to clean said area. The problem with iodine is it's very dark in nature and stains. Well, Dr. Ram figured out how to put this into solution, and the solution is translucent. There's nothing to stain, but you still have all the benefits of the iodine hiding in there. So we have those. Tiger. Let's roll to the next one. And then we have our animal version because, well, we got to take care of our pets the same way we take care of people. And Coato is a proprietary blend of orthosilicic acid, hypochlorous acid, vitamins, minerals, other great things that are designed to protect your pets from environmental pollutants while nourishing their skin and their coat, with the goal of creating a product that is able to provide further protection to your pets from the dangers of 5G, EMF, heavy metals, viruses, bacteria, parasites, and fungi. Now, it's interesting, the difference between animal products and human products. You can make different points of conversation in animal products. So as you look at the ingredients of these two products, you might find that they are very similar. And you might take some of the concepts that you are going to learn from Bill and Koo's Coato and possibly apply some of those philosophies to what you will find in Envirom Skin Defense. But as we mentioned, you have some of the same ingredients. Little water, little hypochlorous acid, little vitamin C, little aloe vera, little vitamin B3, a little lavender, and a proprietary blend of orthosilicic acid, potassium sorbate, and iodine, potassium iodide. So you can see, and that is not one of our dogs in the photo. That little Pom is way too cute to be put next to Einstein. Einstein used to look that cute, but he doesn't anymore, so we will not have him on camera. And Tilly was not camera ready for this presentation. She's getting her puppy cut. She was supposed to get her puppy cut today to be ready for summertime. She's not that cute. So one of the important parts with Coato is when you're spraying this on your pets, all kinds. You can do this on cows, pigs, horses, sheep, goats. Goats are amazing because they're just fun animals. Dogs, cats, parrots, fish, not so much. Snakes, reptiles, not needed because no one really likes the snakes and reptiles that much anyway. They're pretty good. But Nicole LaValle asks the greatest question when it comes to the use of Coato. Can it help protect your pets from fleas and ticks? Some evidence says yes. So what you want to do when you're using Coato on your pets is you want to give them sprays. And you don't want to do this really close up because you want to give it give the little spritzer a chance to spread out a little bit. So you want to spray this on your pets, and then you want to rub it into their coat. So this is actually one of the good therapeutic parts that you can do with your pets, right? Because you're going to give them something that therapeutically is going to be very beneficial to them. But at the same time that you're giving it to them, you get to spend time petting them and caressing them. Or the other way that you can talk about petting and caressing is to Bill and Koo with Coato. Always something in a name. So you want to massage that into them. So you get that in their skin. You do it a couple times a week. It's therapy time for everybody. They'll love it. Same thing for yourself. Spray it on, rub it in a little bit, good to go. I did some on my face and my skin earlier. It feels outstanding. Tiger, let's rock. So what's the difference? When we look at the difference between Coato and Envirom Skin Defense, the only difference is one is for humans and one is for animals. That was not a pop quiz question earlier. It should have been as you looked at both labels. You said, wait a minute, I think all the ingredients here are the same. Well, they just might be. But they are put in a little bit different order. But they consist of hypochlorous acid, orthosilicic acid, vitamin C, aloe vera, vitamin B3, and potassium iodine. How about that? We move on. Why do we need to be protected from environmental pollutants? Need we go deeply into this subject? Because we've talked so heavily about the impact of environmental pollutants on the inside. What toxic heavy metals will do: mercury, cadmium, arsenic, lead, aluminum, cesium, strontium, gadolinium, graphene. We can go down the list of the metals. We can add, the list of PBEs, PBDEs, PCBs, all of these other things that are in the water, in the air, in the environment that are from different aspects of environmental pollution. We can add glyphosate, which is Roundup, that's sprayed all over. We can add dioxin, which is from Agent Orange. We can add depleted uranium that's been used as a weapon and unfortunately, in warfare throughout the world, that emits massive amounts of radioactive isotopes into the air, which causes diabetes, which causes cancer, which causes many issues. But the additional environmental pollutants come from EMF radiation and other microbials. Professor. Sorry, class is always interrupted when this woman walks in.
Sorry, guys, I was trying to get stuff ready for the European tour with Ted and Dylan and Duquesne. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Well, thanks for coming.
Did you bring up, though, with, I know I mentioned it on the RPS call, so just so you guys know, I've worked with a lot of environmental products as well as skincare lines. And you have to be careful if you say antimicrobial or antibacterial. If you use those words, it has to be listed as a pesticide. If you ask me why, because most pesticides are negative, but there are natural pesticides, so we could go down that route. But the reason that our government in the United States registers things like that is because of the fact that they're bugs, right? Viruses are bugs, parasites are bugs, bacteria, they're bugs. They're considered something that's basically parasitic or something that hurts us. So you have to have a pesticide to get rid of it. So we're trying to figure out.
They're like a pest.
Right, they're like a pest. So we're trying to figure out how we will position that and how we will handle it. In the meantime, what we're talking about are the ingredients in the products. We're not making claims. We're discussing how there's different things that we can assist with and assist the body in protecting and creating barriers, but we aren't going to make claims. We can't, because they will pull everything from what we're doing. Who's writing on it, Clay?
Somebody that's going to get removed from class real quick.
Well, the radiation, the heavy metals, and the microbials. Those are all things that, of course, you guys know when we talk about clean slate, our goal is to go in there and rip things apart and clean the body. There is part of the formulation, the Skin Defense, that has, and the Coato that has the things that are in clean slate in the product. I made it in a very different way. It was made integrating multiple different things into the formula. Clay's probably already talked about some of those, in an effort, again, to really protect the toxins from the body and create this barrier. And then the skin wear that's going to come out, or the environment wear that's going to come out, is going to help even further. So again, this goes back to any of you guys that were here when Root was launched. We constantly talked about, we're going to clean, we're going to supplement, we're going to provide barriers so that things can't get into the body, and barricades, and then we're going to switch it up. Because anyone that understands war, and I believe what we are in the middle of is fighting a war on healthcare and wellness and our world, you have to provide different barriers, and you can't stop. You got to be smarter. With viruses, if you're not smarter than a virus, the virus is going to win. So what you have to focus on is finding different things that can protect the body or can create these barriers that will help the body thrive in the middle of something that's negative. And that's what we've done at Root by providing yet another way that the body can be given something that will assist the body in its natural way of protecting and even reinforce it, because we know our bodies used to be better at doing this, but because of the environmental factors and because of the things that have happened in our world, because of war, because of machinery, and because of all these things that are being output into our environment, we have so many environmental factors that cause autoimmune disorders and diseases and neurological disorders and fertility issues, et cetera. So our goal is to protect everyone.
So we've been dealing with environmental warfare for many generations, not just in an attack by a specific party or an individual, but by the environment itself and things that industry has created that create an attack on our body because of environmental pollutants that are in the air, the water, and soil, but also these other factors.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's become like this political battle. Like, if I speak on one side, then in our country, they say I'm a Democrat. If I speak on the other side, I'm a Republican. The truth is, when I speak as a scientist, I don't speak as a political party. I don't speak on a political platform. I speak for people. I speak for science. I speak for doing the right thing to try to help people. Sometimes in science and sometimes in life, even with the governments or with us, in this company, you think you're doing the right thing, and then you recognize, okay, I could make some other changes and do this differently, or I could do it better. And that's what we're always trying to do at Root, is find the things we can do better, find the things we can improve, and further help people at protecting their lives and their bodies, not just for this generation again, but for future generations. We are the opposite of depopulation. We are for sustainability, and we are for the lives of our children and our children's children, and making our lives the best they can be.
And as a secondary note, when I start talking, they just say, stop, let her speak.
No one says that.
Oh, they don't put me on a side. They just say, look, let her talk.
No one says that.
But
babe.
We're a big fan of bunnies, right? Versus trying to kill off people.
I don't know what that means.
Let people create.
Oh, I don't
Be
know
healthy.
what that means. But I know, yeah, we want people to
we're made here to do good things.
We're made here to do
we
good
want
things.
we want to put people in a position where they're protected and they can do good things.
Yeah.
Tiger. Next.
It may be J-Lo.
What
I'm
is
not sure.
what is no, it's a tiger day. What is the
Thank you,
dermis?
Tiger.
What is dermal absorption?
So the body's biggest organ, and you guys have heard me say this a million times, is the skin or the fur for animals. And recent studies showed that our skin and our animals' furs are big sponges for these chemicals. And I would even say studies have shown that the whole time, but now more and more are prevalent and coming out. Toxins penetrate the skin. They pass directly through the cell via fermentation intercellularly. And I want to explain that because I've done a lot of studies on skin. So basically, it goes in between the skin. And if you can look at this, this shows really the makeup of your skin and what it's composed of. You have the epidermis, the dermis, the hypodermis. When I worked with psoriasis and scleroderma, sarcoidosis, dermatitis, all of those things, we continuously talked about this psoriatic cascade, which was the inflammation that caused the skin to turn over. And then what happens is, I can't point, but if you go to the top, there's that level of the epidermis that creates these plaques, but it actually starts at the bottom and it goes through different pathways, and those pathways start not working right and they start overproducing, right? That's a disorder that causes a lot of issues. But what people don't understand is a lot of people with psoriasis also have rheumatoid arthritis, alopecia, lupus, and other autoimmune diseases because they kind of weave in between each other and they're interconnected. Pollution is an environmental factor that can actually leak into the bloodstream. So pollution is composed of heavy metals. It's composed of all kinds of just yucky stuff that really we weren't prepared to defend, which is why, for me, skin defense was so important, so that we could create these barriers that no one's really thought about. They've thought about the UV protection, but not the other things that we really need to protect in the skin. So we've had a lot of people use it, like, for example, and I don't know if you guys have gone into this, but a lot of people have used it when we did the trials and we tested it for like fleas and ticks. They used it for acne, they used it for warts, they used it for scarring with the phytoplankton, with the Reno, right? And did a lot of stuff that was fantastic. I've even used it on my face when my face is broken out. And also with wounds, like we've sprayed it on our daughter when she got hurt and fell down just recently with the phytoplankton as well. So you can use this along with the phytoplankton. You can use it for a variety of things, but honestly, I think you guys are going to have to test it and see how it works. You're going to see some phenomenal results, I believe.
Go Tiger. So this is an ingredient
I worked on
that I was ignorant of for a bit. And then about 3 years ago, this started to become a topic of conversation.
Yeah. So all
talk about hypochloric
because
acid.
I've worked with hypochloric acid in a lot of different situations. It's been used with diabetics and wound care. This is a natural product, as a nutraceutical. I used a different formula than anyone that's used it before. I actually worked with Bob and we worked on how we would do it. I sent him all the work that I had done on patents and previous work. And I worked for a while. At first, Clayton probably doesn't know this, we couldn't make it. We tried a lot of different avenues and we weren't able to do it. But finally, through about a year and a half, we were able to successfully do it and create this particular formula to be able to help the body. And HOCl is created basically from white blood cells in the system, and it fights infection. So being able to put this in the body, it's used in surgery, it's used in wound care when people can't get rid of things that have to do with really bad bacteria and viruses. It has like a 99% success rate with different things like that. They've even used it with skin cancer. So Clay, you know this, I spray when I had the Pure and then I had the other stuff that I worked on, I put it on my skin because I had skin cancer, and I used it along with the Clean Slate and the Restore and the antifungals. And so we even know that they used it for SARS-CoV-2 to be a barrier of the mucus to prevent the infection. But we can't make that claim about our product because we have not launched this as a pharmaceutical. So we're not making the claim. We're simply pointing out the information. I do want to point out that there was a study with HOCl which showed 50% inhibition of bacterial growth with E. coli. And what that means is basically it stopped the colony from forming. It stopped it from growing, which is extremely important. It also extensively reversed what had happened, which is what you're always hoping for. So Clay knows this. I used it in my mouth, in my nose, in my ears. Whenever I would get an infection, we still do. Our kids do. But we're not launching it for that. I know some people will use it for that, but the reason we're not is because we're launching it in a way just to be a barrier, not something you take internally. But again, that is how I know we both do it.
So you think of a barrier on the outside, but because of the benefits, and hypochlorous acid you don't need a very large concentration.
Not at
it
all.
can be very, very small.
Yeah.
It's something that you could also spray on your palms.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So it's something that I mean, it's better than a disinfectant. I don't really know how to talk about it. It's to me one of those miracle products that I wish we would have had with all this outbreak, and people could have, even breathed it in, which is what we did in some instances. But other people, like for our point right now with the root community, so that we launch this the right way, it just needs to be used again as something to add the body and its natural protective barrier against all this stuff.
As you said,
Yeah.
another line of protection.
Yeah.
Tiger, go. Oh, one of my favorites.
You can speak about this because you always love it. You know what I love is that we actually put the collagen and everything in there as well, acting as a glue.
What?
Yeah, because one of the things is you've got to provide strength and flexibility to your tissue and to your skin so you can protect it. But one of the things we don't talk about enough, Clay, is I did do some patents and patent pending technology that reverses aging and regenerates skin and regenerates nails and hair. And that was one of the things I focused on. We don't talk about enough what like an orthosilic acid that's derived from a zeolite can do for the skin.
Mm-hmm.
Really
well, and
don't.
we talk so much about the detoxification properties,
but
right?
we don't talk enough about
the mechanisms that you've created, which in it's important to understand whether you look at clean slate and now when you look at the derivatives of that process that Dr. Rom, or should I say Professor Rom today,
Sorry, I'm texting one of the doctors. We're doing a study.
has used foundationally with the other products that have come from it, whether it's Clean Spirits now, if it's Envirom, if it's Coato, if it's Enviromware. And we've touched on the benefits of bioavailable silica internally and how it's so crucial, but there's never been someone or a company or an organization, because I'll speak to the Department of Energy, the United States Department of Energy, that has been doing research into this amazing crystal for over 40 years. They've been trying to do what she did and had never figured it out. I've been fortunate enough to work in this space for about 18 years now, and everything that had been done prior to our introduction had always been used with acids that would actually destroy and denature this amazing component to this crystal, which is the bioavailable silica. So it does help create this protective matrix in conjunction with the hypochlorous acid and some of these other amazing ingredients that we're going to touch on that feed your skin, just as she was talking about the dermis, the epidermis, the hypodermis. The bioavailable silica is what allows proper regeneration as well. It's that feeding tool to create the natural process that's needed for the production of collagen, and that includes your protection of your skin.
I mean, we just, giving the skin nutrients and oxygen because of the orthosilic acid, I think, again, is extremely important, but we don't bring that up enough. We talk a lot about the detoxification or the cleaning process of how Clean Slate's made. And this formula, I used a different way of delivering it and bioavailability. It's a different formula completely, as you guys know. It has a lot of different things in it that are embedded as well with the goal of doing what we're talking about. But I want to make sure that we don't forget to talk about how it can also benefit the skin, because anytime you give the skin something that is a carrier of oxygen, right, or that is it transports nutrients to the body, you give a glow and you can help produce collagen. And so we really should talk about that more, and we can focus on that at a later date. But women, if you're using the product, you may want to be spraying this all over your face.
So if you use this as a protective assistance,
well, like
as
on my
a base,
skin, yeah,
as you use, and then you have the tea mist, and then if you added Reno, I mean, it's the most advanced skincare line I ever heard of.
It is, and we have a lot more to do too, because it's a continuous battle.
It's
a battle of aging, and the battle is, I love aging. Like when people ask me if it bothers me to get older, no, not at all.
You make aging look good.
I hope I look better as I age and not worse. And the way you can do that is by continuously focusing on your skin, because your skin's important. And I'm someone that's a cancer survivor. I was a lifeguard. I was constantly out in the sun. So for me to be able to really help my skin, it's a huge task, but I have been able to do it. And I'm hoping this product lends to that, not just for protection, but also making people look and feel better.
You hit on something that's like so crucially important, right? So many people build a platform based on being a cancer survivor. We have many friends that have nonprofit organizations because of their battle with cancer.
Yes.
Right. How many have you had? Brain tumor, spine tumor? Every kind of skin cancer?
Yeah, melanoma, squamous, basal, yeah, cancer. I have
carcinoma.
Yeah, I've had a lot.
4, 6, 5 or 6.
Well, I know, but that's not like something to brag about. That's something that's been hard for me.
It's been very hard, but you continually kick ass, take names, chew bubble gum.
And that's why I identify with you guys when I'm traveling, because I've had colitis. So those of you that have Crohn's disease and colitis, I know the struggle is real. Clayton knows my battle with that, which is why Relive Grains helps me so much. And Lyme's disease has been a huge issue in my life, but I've been able to continuously overcome it. And I do that by just not giving up even when I want to. And it's extremely important that you guys have that knowledge, and you're able to do it in your own lives as well. And it takes work. I won't lie to you guys. It's not aging is not something for the weak. Being sick is not something for the weak. You have to become stronger. Otherwise, you'll succumb and give in, because it's easy to feel sorry for yourself. It's easy to give up, but it's just something that we can't do. We do have to get through the slides really quick, because we have a hard stop.
Yep.
Okay?
Vitamin C, pretty straightforward.
You know how much I love it. It reverses aging effects. Someone said to me, absorbic acid is always bad. And I said, no, it depends on how you make it and how you do it. Not to get off the topic of vitamin C, but Googling vitamin C, Googling absorbic acids and stuff like that does not give a true, accurate understanding. And for me, I've worked with vitamin C and vitamin E and vitamin K for so many years, vitamin B. I mean, I've worked with all the vitamins because we use those as carriers, and it's something that really is protective. And you can see on this slide, it talks about it's radioprotective, and it's an antioxidant. It really, I want to go to the second column. It says researchers evaluated the protective role of vitamin C on the metabolic and enzymatic activities of the liver in rats after exposure to Wi-Fi routers. Groups of the 5-day test showed reduction in the amount of blood glucose, elevation of cholesterol level, and LDL related to control groups. What does that mean? That means it was protective against Wi-Fi, which is a energy level that's really not good for our bodies. That's why I added this, because of the 5G and all the different things that are happening. We also know that if you administer high levels of vitamin C, it helps with absorption in the intestine and excretion from the blood and organs. So you may say to me, why does it matter that you put it on your skin? The reason is your skin is your largest organ, and it's bioavailable. It brings things into the body. We even helped some people that have been extremely sick by rubbing different products like Restore and Clean Slate on their body because they can't eat. So I want you guys to know it does matter what you put on your skin. A lot of things you put on your skin are not good for you. A lot of things you brush on your teeth are not good for your teeth and your gums. A lot of deodorant you use isn't good. So most of you guys are educated on this, but I want to really step up and explain to you guys why this particular ingredient was important and why this formula is important.
So the protection is not a matter of turning off a lot of the stuff that's around you, because a lot of times you can't control that. It's a matter of cleaning up your body and protecting your body so it's protected from the environment.
Correct.
And vitamin C assists in that quite effectively. Tiger.
I mean, it even helps with sagging.
Oh,
you know that. And it helps like the skin when it sags, like when you age, and your pore size and all of that stuff. The collagen production, and vitamin C helps with that as well.
And it's a catalyst. It's a catalyst in that process. And that's why you're combining a lot of these things. And then we've talked about aloe vera and how amazing aloe vera is.
It actually has a high absorption of environmental pollutants, and I want to bring that up to you guys. It soothes sunburns and skin injuries as well as radiation burns. So I don't know if you guys know this. If you've been exposed to radiation, or anyone in your family and there's issues, aloe vera, if used the right way, actually helps with that as well as environmental pollutions. And it breaks down microbials and heavy metals. So again, you see it coming into play here. Why was this used? Why was it put in a water-soluble formula? How did you put it in a water-soluble formula is what people have asked me. And my answer is I did it by using different energy levels and different types of formulations and microemulsions and nanoemulsions so that we could come up with this fantastic formula that you can spray on yourself.
How many people do you think have been exposed to radiation in one way or another?
I know I have.
All of them?
Most of us. But I have, because of all the issues with cancer and all the testing I've had to go through.
But you have nuclear reactor failures from Japan, the United States, Europe, and none of that stuff leaves.
Yeah.
So whether you're in Europe,
it doesn't pass the stratosphere.
It doesn't go, it just bounces right back. So we've all been exposed. We're all continually exposed.
You guys, I use the Reno and this on sunburns and different things that I have, and I've had fantastic results. I've actually keep asking Clayton for more and more of this product because it's something that I will continuously use. And again, probably more than any other formula. I don't know, Clean Slate I use constantly as well, and Restore and Relive Greens and Immune Defense Shield, but this is something definitely that I will add to the Reno of what I'm using in the Tea Mist. Let's go to the next slide. Tiger, we're going to talk about B3, which I love. So again, guys, the focus is removal of toxins or protection of toxins, right? And so if you look at B3, it can accelerate the eradication process by rupturing the fat cells, which is called I never say it, Clayton.
So lipolysis?
Lipolysis. Can I practice it?
Paul
Isis. Lipolysis that stores the toxins. There's my speech impediment coming out.
I love it.
And actually thereby releases them from elimination. So it's really important that you guys understand that. Again, this goes back to what are we trying to do? And then for those of you that have dark spots in your skin, it's important to help with that. This is one of the products that people use. It can take 4 weeks or maybe 2 months, but if you keep using it, it should be able to help in those areas as well. And then also it provides a lipid barrier. That means that it's helping with things like mature skin, eczema, dry skin, psoriasis, things like that. There's been different studies that show that it helps with things like that as well. And it helps retain moisture too.
Kind of amazing.
So like making sure your skin looks good.
Don't companies just sell just a straight vitamin B3 supplement you spray on your skin?
They do.
And they also do aloe vera. They also do these other ingredients.
No, they don't. There's not other. Some of these ingredients aren't available anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How about that? Tiger, proceed.
And then you guys hear me talk all the time about the thyroid gland and how important it is and hormones and what am I doing about it. This is another product that was extremely important to me. If you guys haven't noticed, more and more people are having problems with their thyroid, and that's because of the heavy metals and the different things in our environment. And I love iodine because according to the CDC, and not that we always listen to the CDC, but we try to listen as much as we can. And then sometimes when the facts aren't right, we're like, well, maybe that isn't right. For this particular instance, it is. Iodine is not radioactive, and it actually can be helped to block one type of radioactive material. So that's why it's important. It also helps with the thyroid, but I want to let you, by protecting the thyroid, but I want you guys to know iodine is not enough to protect the body in case of something really bad happening. You have to have the other ingredients and the other things as well. So when people ask me, Christina, what do you think about iodine? I'm like, it can help against one type of radioactivity, and the other things it doesn't. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. And I also want to keep in mind when we talk about gram-positive bacteria, meth-resistant staph, when we talk about strep and pseudomonas and yeast infections like Candida, sorry.
Canada is kind of a yeast infection at times too.
No.
Oh,
Clay.
It's true.
Candida.
Maybe it's just Trudeau.
I've worked with different types of fungus for years. I've worked with different types of bacteria, different types of parasites and viruses. And you guys know that. It's extremely important to me to add iodine, not just because of the radioactive aspect and heavy metal aspect, but also because of what it can protect the body. The researchers have found more and more things that can actually protect the body. And it has a vital role in removing toxins from the body, including fluoride, bromide, and chlorine. And I think that's really important to bring out. And it really is able to protect the body against different things with cysts and fibroids and different types of cancer for reproductive organs, which we don't talk about enough. And so for me, adding this extra element that can even, we know that this can even remove lead and cadmium and all the other stuff, right?
And assists in the skin in doing that. So if we're talking about protection, this brings up a really interesting thought, because I mean we're playing with this on the fly because of what we're able to do to bring this to the market. We have a lot of the analysis. We know what's happening. But if you were to take this, and we want to protect our skin, but the skin on your neck that is very close to your thyroid is actually very, very thin.
Very thin.
So if you made sure to spray this on your skin and neck and rubbed it in,
I just took all of the product off your desk so I can have it all.
Well, you're actually going to be very supportive. Is what happens when I go to the pod room.
What if you do this and then you put the silica in it and it creates a barrier and makes your skin look better and shinier?
And what if I get to rub it in and I get to build?
But what if it makes me healthier? What if it protects me?
What kind of amazing byproduct is that?
It's a great byproduct.
What?
Someone asked me about rashes, and the only thing about a rash, when you spray it, just make sure The phytoplankton, I know we have a lot of people using it for diaper rashes. If you spray it on babies, make sure you don't get it on anything, that you just get it on the rash, and it may sting a little bit for a second because of some of the iodine, but usually most of the ingredients I put in here do not sting, and I've tested it. That doesn't mean that if you've been really hurt or you're going through a transition, it won't, but most of this will not sting.
Hold on, that brings up an interesting question. Have we tested these products on animals? Yes, we have
used it on our animals.
Have we done human testing? Have we tested this on babies?
Yes.
Yes, we have.
Okay, we haven't done clinical trials yet, though.
We don't need to.
Well, we're going to, because I'm sending it off to environmental groups so that we can test it with the land, air, and water as well.
And there you go.
And Kelly's working at getting testing on every single product. So I don't know if you guys know this. We just spent a ton of money. I just approved it. I don't even know if Clayton knows that we did it. Do you know?
I saw it.
It's been hundreds of thousands of dollars in testing now of all of our products yearly. Every product is going out, whether it's the animal product to third parties for qualification, not just for athletes and Olympic athletes, but for everyone to hit the highest quality of testing. We want to be able to hit it so we can be listed in Canada for their government, as well as for their government employees, as well as a program for all the military in the United States. And we're trying to target Europe as well. So we're really going an extra mile. We should start in August. I need you to get on the phone with Dr. Houston with me, the double-blind trial that we will be doing with Clean Slate and Restore and some of the other products. And we are reaching out to you guys to do more and more. We're asking for help to go on to the patient registry and enroll. If Tiger has a meeting, or John Hayden, we want you guys to pay attention, because you can enroll under the patient registry, or you can have a doctor enroll. We are paying $5 patient enrollment if you guys want to collect on that dollar if you've been enrolled. Or if the doctor enrolls, we are paying them for the patient enrollment.
Tiger,
So anyway,
next one.
I think we're done. It's the literature reviews, unless I'm wrong.
I know, just look at all the references. Speed read it, just like she did.
Here's some references that will help explain some of these things, and we'll be talking about it more next week and the next couple of weeks on the European tour.
On the tour. Is there more? Is there more
That's
references? Go ahead,
No.
Tiger. Go to the last one. Get just exit out of it so we can just be seen now.
Tiger's like, why?
Look at the party. Are we still pinned? But we got the party. I learned something.
What did you learn?
That we could do this in an hour and be entertaining and educational.
We only have an hour because we have a lot of stuff we have to get
I
done.
know,
We're
yeah.
trying to work on the wholesale model and the ROM group purchasing model, because we've got countries now that want to buy product for their healthcare systems. And we also have major groups that want to bring this in with all their doctors. So we're working at finalizing that, so we have that to roll out to you all while we're in Europe, so you guys know what the group purchasing program is like, and so you know how to have doctors buy it wholesale as well.
It's not Canada,
CPC.
Claire. Canada doesn't like you. They'll come later. They're usually a little slow on the uptake, eh?
Anyway, we're thankful for you guys, and I'm sorry about the short presentation, but we've got to leave in the morning, and we're trying to get all of this out. We're packing stuff so we can have giveaways and different things for you guys to see that you can't buy, but you will be able to buy some of this, like Clean Spirits, during the European tour until we run out.
You want to know how amazing these products are for like helping skin and hair growth? Look
We
at
have a
Florian's
hair growth
goatee. Look at Florian's goatee. It is outstanding here.
I love you, babe, but we have a hard stop at 3.
It looks amazing. We'll see him shortly.
Oh my gosh, he looks great. I love it. I love it. I wouldn't have recognized you. I would not have recognized you. And as far as I know, Regina had texted me about the dog. I want to get Millie and the dog clothes. I want to see your dogs. If you guys want to bring them to the different events, if the hotels will let us, it's great. But Ted's working on actually doing some stuff for like an hour just for dogs and other events that we're trying to do. And again, I will be bringing clothes that we're not selling yet, but that we now have, that we will be pushing out with Root as well. And we'll be bringing the environment wear and skin defense and all the other stuff for you guys to try.
And that's it. We did it.
Let's do it. Got it.
Konnichiwa, my friends.
Bye, guys. And any of you guys that see my son Kreider, give him a hug for me.
Oh yeah, find out where he is. He's somewhere in Portugal or Spain.
He's in Portugal.
There we go.
And he's going to Barcelona.